Is the European Union trying to ban memes from the internet? Will all your base belong to them? Is the EU the grumpiest cat in the world? Did the EU eat too many Tide Pods? Oh. Find out on this, the most interesting podcast in the world, Dude Soup.
Man,
I hate those cold opens.
That's fine.
You loved that.
Yeah,
I did not. I wanted to put you all through it.
that's fine.
now I can't wait to listen to this podcast.
I wanted to make you all cringe.
A little bit.
You did a great job.
All right, good.
Yeah, I like you span the ages there. You were all your base all the way up to Tide Pods.
All your base was the first meme, I think, right?
Well,
Mostly?
I mean,
Mainly?
historically,
yeah.
culturally, memes have existed since.
Well, of course.
There have been
absolutely.
tribes.
But on the internet.
Internet
Yeah.
meme.
On the internet.
Right.
I feel like one of the first ones I remember is the Halo one. It kills aliens and doesn't afraid of anything.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Also,
yes.
pools closed.
Oh, yeah.
That's more racially.
I think all your
I
base
mean,
might
yeah,
be
but it's still a meme.
This
It's just a
podcast
racist meme.
is brought to you by Quip. Go to getquip.com/dude right now and get your first brush refill pack for free with a Quip electric toothbrush. It's also brought to you by Upstart. Hurry to upstart.com/dude to find out how low your Upstart interest rate on a loan can be. And also brought to you by Hims. Get started with the Hims Complete Hair Kit for just $5 right now while supplies last and subject to doctor's approval. Restrictions apply. See website for full details. Go to forhims.com/dude. That's it's FORHIMS.com/dude. All right, guys. I asked you in the office. I was like, do you guys know what Article 13 is?
I was like, that's when they killed the Jedi.
Yeah.
Dude,
At the end of
that was Order
episode-
66.
Okay.
And I don't think anybody really had any knowledge of it, right?
Not really, no.
It's kind of been gaining steam over the last 6 months or so. People are calling it the meme ban. And Article 13, I'll read the official text from the EU, and I'll try to explain along the way. Ask me questions anytime you got. Sure.
Yes.
Here's Article 13. Information society service providers that store and provide to the public access to large amounts of works or other subject matter uploaded by their users shall, in cooperation with right holders, take measures to ensure the functioning of agreements concluded with right holders for the use of their works or other subject matter, or to prevent the availability on their services of works or other subject matter identified by right holders through the cooperation with the service providers. Can anybody tell me what the first half of that statement
Sounds like YouTube.
Yeah, so information society service providers is like YouTube, Twitch, Twitter.
It means that you have to demonstrate a good faith that you're trying to enforce copyright holding on your service.
That is exactly right.
If you make Reddit.com, it's the Napster situation. You can't say, well, they put the copyright material up. I just
Right.
gave them the tools to do it.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
I'm surprised that didn't exist before.
Well, because they got around it by making this user sign a terms of service saying, correct, you are responsible for it. We only create the tools.
Which means nothing happens.
Right.
Well, it also means that private companies can't. It removes the step of private companies to prosecute because they have to go out and find each individual person and prosecute them directly, as opposed to going through the service that can do it in mass.
So basically what it does is it makes YouTube, the service, liable. Yep. So here's the latter half of that, Article 13. Those measures, such as the use of effective content recognition technologies, like Content ID, shall be appropriate and proportionate. The service providers shall provide right holders with adequate information on the functioning and the deployment of the measures, as well as, when relevant, adequate reporting on the recognition and use of the works and other subject matter. So basically kind of what we were trying to cover there, which is they're saying YouTube has to demonstrate that when people upload something to YouTube, YouTube goes, is it copywritten? They have to ask the user basically like, is this copywritten? And they have to demonstrate that they have that technology to prove that it's not copywritten.
Damn.
Yeah, so all of the liability now is Article 13 in the EU right now is saying that they put it on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all of them,
So
Snapchat, everybody.
No such federal law exists in America, does it?
Correct.
It's all
No.
self-enforced?
No, right now it's all self-enforced. Basically, the corporation polices itself.
Yeah, I think because of the, what is the word? Because of the precedent set by like Napster and shit like that.
Yeah,
it's interesting that it is law. So that means you could sue a company in Europe for not demonstrating good faith in enforcing copyright guidelines.
That's right.
And sue them in like federal court or whatever the
Parliament.
alternative.
But yeah, something like
Oh, wait,
Put
no.
on your wig
Brexit,
and
fuck.
get your hammer.
I don't know.
I don't know the
Parliament.
Obviously, I don't know the laws.
Everywhere else is called Parliament, right? That's not just a UK thing.
Everywhere else in the world, yeah.
I know nothing.
I don't
Other
either.
outside
Parliament,
of-
you got-
I think it's Parliament in the UK.
They all wear
And in
wigs
Australia.
wherever they go,
And
right?
it's Australia,
They
Okay.
throw rocks, and where the rocks land depends who wins.
Right.
My
I thought they cut a chicken's head off and it lands on guilty or not guilty.
Both, actually.
So as you can see, we do not know EU law very well, but Article 13 is currently only in the EU. And this is from YouTube's Save Your Internet page. So obviously YouTube is against Article 13. Of
course.
So is Twitch.
Yeah.
So is every other
Because
platform.
it's impossible for them.
It is a.
Well, it's also government interference. You typically don't want people who don't understand the technologies that you're using to prosecute you for the enforcement of them. Most elected officials have no idea what the internet is, much less how it works and how thorny it can be.
It's impossible right now.
Yeah.
But what
Yeah.
Article 13 is trying to do is get these companies to say, okay, we're going to install all the technology.
It's kind of
and
like-
spend the money and hire the people.
This is similar to GDPR, right?
What is that technology? Is that it would have to be something would auto flag copywritten content before it was public?
That's it.
I
That's
guess
right.
that's doable, but damn.
But
It's really hard.
We use copywritten content in most of our content, but we license it.
Right.
Sometimes we use it in fair use.
Right.
Under American fair use law.
Would fair use still apply? Parody still allowed?
Yeah.
That's different. So the EU, I don't know very well fair use law. Fair use law in the United States is really difficult. In the EU, I have no idea.
So if this thing passes, does that mean like YouTube basically says they could not, unless they had human oversight on every single video that went up, which is near impossible.
Yes.
They would be fined out the ass that it's probably easier for them just to shut YouTube down in Europe.
I mean,
Well,
from
okay.
the sounds of it, they already satisfy the stipulations of this.
dude.
Not even close.
Really?
So we'll get there. We'll get to where Adam's talking about. So from YouTube Save Your Internet page, because right now it's hashtag Save Your Internet is basically against Article 13. YouTube's trying to sort of spearhead this movement. Article 13 is one part of a proposed European Union copyright legislation created with the intent to better protect creativity and find effective ways for copyright holders to protect their content online.
That
So it's-
annoys me. That sentence annoys me. Better protect creativity?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Well, so it's interesting because YouTube's trying to do is they're trying to have an even-handed approach. They're like, look, we understand the intent of this article. It's to help out creators, right? Basically, so if you create something that you should be paid for it, that's what they're saying. But
Sure.
But YouTube says, to be clear, we, YouTube, support the goals of Article 13 and its push to help creators and artists succeed. We want more effective ways for copyright holders to protect their content. But Article 13, as written by the European Parliament, will create large unintended consequences for everyone. So we're asking to find a better way forward.
They've written that actually positively. My understanding of this is that it's like, it's going to be major corporations just taking control of everything, like it has been for a long time with, Konami taking down videos that they didn't have a right to take down. It's just going to be like companies that have tons and tons and tons of money screwing over anyone who's trying to create anything.
And that's kind of what YouTube's. I don't know if YouTube's worried about that, but they're saying it's going to be that. They're saying, this is all of your shit's going to get taken down.
Yeah.
It's all going to go away because of Article 13.
Well, just don't use any copyrighted stuff.
That's
none of it.
Near impossible.
Get yourself in a
So
white
hard to do.
room.
Well, that's why it's
sitting, wearing no clothing.
Yeah.
With a little black box, provided that nobody's copywritten the color black.
Yeah.
And then you just
Some
talk.
people, it depends on the color.
You
black.
can't dance anymore, remember?
Can't dance anymore because
dancing.
that dancing is copywritten.
Well, in the U.S., we're okay on that.
You could do something accidentally without knowing it was copywritten and get done.
If
That
you-
happens
Like, I
a
didn't
lot.
know you
If you
copywritten
hum
That
a
happens a lot
tune,
in patent copyrights too. It's
Yeah.
like two engineers will come up with the same solution to the same problem, and just because one got it a week earlier, they now have the rights to it for decades, which is a wild scenario. but it
Blaine worked
happens
for
all
a
the
company
time.
for a while that was his job was specifically looking for patents that people had exploited to sue them.
patent trolls.
It's
Yeah,
wild.
that's a real thing. It's like people do that all the time. Okay, so moving on. Again, this is in YouTube's Save Your Internet page. Proposed version of Article 13 would eliminate the existing notice and takedown system, which is Content
Whoa.
ID, currently in place to protect rights holders and platforms. This would make platforms such as YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, SoundCloud, Dailymotion, Reddit, Snapchat liable at the moment of upload for any copyright infringement in uploads from users, creators, and artists. This, in turn, would mean that platforms, including YouTube, would be forced to block the vast majority of uploads from Europe and views in Europe for content uploaded elsewhere, given the uncertainty and complexity of copyright ownership.
For sure. And that's basically all gaming content because, I don't know, games are weird. The Let's Play scene kind of blew up before games publishers even set a precedent about establishing
We got
copyright.
lucky. Yeah, we got lucky.
Technically, they can. Like Konami.
They could at any point in
It's
time.
shitty, but they can do it by the law. So yeah, if YouTube has to say 100% this video has no potentially copyrighted material in it before it goes live, all video game content is off the table
R.I.P.
immediately.
PewDiePie.
It's true.
And that's
true.
a significant portion of like global viewership too. Dang, I didn't know it was that severe.
It is.
I thought Content ID, with its ability to scan stuff and then share revenue with copyright holders, and I thought that met the criteria, but apparently not.
Yeah.
Man.
I don't know if, so you guys kind of understand what Article 13 is now.
I have a better
Yeah.
idea of it. It's
Any particular questions?
it's impossible.
It's down to enforcement.
It's interesting because you keep saying it's impossible, and that's what every other platform says too.
Yeah.
But it's the government,
This is
and the government's like,
if
do it.
If there were a billion little YouTubes where it was 4 dudes working in a small office checking the 4 uploads that come in every day,
Right.
yeah, you could probably handle it. But because of the way companies scale now, I don't see it happening.
Well, YouTube takes 300 hours. I think it's 300 hours per minute
Yeah.
of content right now.
The other interesting thing is it's like, is the EU going to set up a governmental agency to prosecute this, or is it just throwing the law out there and letting the system correct itself? Because people may not come after YouTube for it, or YouTube may go through a case where they're prosecuted for a video, defend itself successfully, and then there's a precedent set. But there's no reason for YouTube to make that. Like they're wagering the ad dollars on an entire third of the world against the possibility that their entire platform could be sued by a single copyright holder, which is a shitty situation to be in.
I can tell you what YouTube has said.
Yeah.
If Article 13 passes, the risks associated with accepting content uploads with partial or disputed copyright information would be far too large for platforms such as YouTube.
For sure.
As a result, YouTube would be forced to block millions of videos, existing and new ones, in the European Union. It could drastically limit the content that one can upload to the platform in Europe. Creators would be especially hard hit. As such, Article 13 threatens hundreds of thousands of jobs, European creators, businesses, artists, and everyone they employ.
Despacito!
Despacito's in there. Despacito's definitely in there as an example. They would get rid of that. Despacito would be gone forever.
Oh, that does say they'd get rid of parodies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's YouTube. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is YouTube saying we'll get rid of parody. I have to believe that if this law becomes implemented, it can't be that severe.
I don't know how parody law works in Europe.
I don't. Well,
either.
I mean, YouTube is saying that any liability is too much, so they would yank it all back. I think YouTube's being a little dramatic here. I can't see a reality where
Well,
it is that.
If YouTube's being dramatic, it's because this is the
Draconic.
first time that this has been, we will attack you, YouTube, rather than
sure.
individual creators. Because they don't really care when a creator gets a copyright strike. I don't give a fuck what happens to your channel.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, wait, now it's on us?
Yeah.
Oh, no. So
Yeah.
that's why they're panicking.
Of course, and
exactly
it's in their interest to state the terms in the most drastic way possible.
Yeah.
There's that would honestly, it would cinch off a major expression of world culture, and I can't
Absolutely.
see that that's the intent of this law. So
Well, it's. I'll get to sort of the intent because
I am curious what set this off? Did people just sit around in a room and say, too much YouTube?
those
That's the
corporations
problem.
need more tools. They're getting really walloped by these TikTok singers.
I would guess it's funded by megacorps.
well, so anecdotally, what set this off? Because I kind of agree with you. But
Well, to be clear though, real quick, this is the
yeah.
government, European government,
The EU,
saying,
yeah.
EU is saying, we want to sue the corporation.
But I would guess that the EU is lobbied by other mega corporations who own copyright.
just like all government.
Yeah,
know, like-
I'm only
So
used
then
to
they pushed it
corruption
and
in my
YouTube's lobbying
government. I don't know how corruption works in other countries.
Now they
There's-
all got that.
There's corruption.
Okay.
There's corruption everywhere.
But everybody, with the system as it is now on YouTube, everybody gets a piece. And if they're lobbying for absolute control, then they'll lose out on all YouTube revenues. It seems like they want to, and this is not surprising, under this, it gives the copyright holder of a movie or a song absolute control over how people access it, because you can't listen to it on YouTube, can't listen to it on the radio, unless you license it and everything goes through exactly their channel. So I get that.
well,
But man, that boat sailed a long time ago.
so anecdotally, what I read was basically the EU doesn't want. I read so from their article doesn't want the Californian companies to control all the content in the world.
Power grab makes sense.
Right, and it's like so Silicon Valley basically. There's
Tanned bastards.
Yeah, so
white
and it was.
teeth and
I
their
thought it was
hair
funny
plugs.
because I was like, "Oh, I'm from California." But it was interesting the way they used that text because they're like, "We don't want them to have control of everything."
Makes sense.
And that, to a certain extent, it makes sense to me. I was like, "Yeah, I get that. That's fine. That they don't want billion-dollar corporations
after
in
what-
charge of
Especially
all
centered in
content.
one place, because that gives us the same cultural problem that Lawrence mentioned earlier. It's like that.
Yeah.
If it's all spanning from one location, it's the same thing.
Then you get cultural exportation, and everybody wants to live on the West Coast, baby. But I mean, after what Facebook did, like control of algorithms and exposure of culture handed to a private company is really scary.
Well, it'd be handed to the government in this case.
Yeah, I
Also
mean,
scary.
Meet the new boss kind of thing.
Yeah, I know, and I find that scary as well. Just to go back to this, so if you create videos in the EU, YouTube and other platforms have no choice but to block your existing videos and prevent you from uploading new ones.
No, they have a choice.
They do. Yes.
I mean, YouTube is saying they
I
have
know.
no
Yeah.
choice.
Well, I think YouTube's basically saying like if there's even a hint, a flag or anything, it's just blocked.
Well, yeah, because they don't want to deal with the
It's
legal
a,
trouble.
It's a scorched earth policy. They said I'd rather
if
have-
YouTube wanted to be
it's like
brave,
what Tumblr did.
what did Tumblr?
yeah,
do?
So Tumblr got in trouble for
Oh yeah.
child porn, which is a huge problem that they should take seriously. But as a result, they just scorched everything.
Everything. Yeah.
They're like, well, if we're going to get done for child porn, because I think their app got removed from the App Store, they were like, let's
that's
just get rid of
right.
everything
Okay.
slightly
they removed
inappropriate
all adult content.
Gotcha.
and stuff that wasn't even.
If YouTube wanted to be brave, they would, and they have no reason to be. But instead of hiring a ton of people to manually script content, they'd hire a ton of lawyers and say, "All right, you, we will defend our creators against this shitty law in your court." Granted, they'd lose their company.
They'll never do that.
Yeah, I mean, you're,
that would
you're
be
also
awesome.
you're throwing in some sort of emotion in there where they're looking at a whiteboard and going,
They're trying to manipulate
Good or
us into doing the fight
bad.
for them right now.
It's it's interesting you said that. Sorry, go ahead.
No,
You
that's
continue.
it.
I wanted to.
No,
hear it.
that's. I'm just saying it's. They're looking at a cost loss.
Yeah,
you know,
they are.
whatever
Cost benefit analysis.
Cost benefit analysis. Yeah, they're.
This isn't about people. This is about money, as it always
Not
is.
Despacito.
their money. I mean, people.
Just specifically, also, if you're a creator not in the EU, so everybody else in the world, YouTube and other platforms will likely block your videos, including existing ones, to users in the European Union if there is partial or disputed copyright information. And again, this is YouTube saying this. So like Lawrence was like, they can be brave and stuff like that. YouTube's saying what they're going to do.
Yeah.
They're telling you what they're going to do. And it's like kind of scary
Why?
to hear
You
that.
don't, you don't like the amount of work they're
don't-
not willing to put in.
No. I don't believe they would immediately shut off all of Europe. I don't believe it. I think there's too much money there.
But the potential of being sued.
yeah.
Right, but I think it would be equally disruptive for them to close off the ad revenue they get from that
They'd
entire
lose a
section of the
ton-
world.
They would lose PewDiePie.
Yeah. So I don't know.
You would just move here.
Yeah, he could.
They're putting it in these terms right now because they want to maintain the status quo because the status quo is good for them.
Right.
If this law does pass, I think it would be equally destructive to YouTube as a corporation to lose all that ad revenue as it would be to get sued by one record label. That's a lot of
I mean,
money.
they would have to figure that out.
Yeah, they would.
But they'd be getting sued by 10 record labels. I don't think just one.
Well, you only have to win or lose the one case.
You got to think about how much
Or is-
money how
yeah.
many videos get uploaded all the time.
Is it
Yeah.
more of like an FCC fine or something like that? Because now it's like you have to deal with that fine, and now the corporation has the ability to now sue the billionaires.
Yeah, enforcement.
You know,
Well,
the,
It's like
billion,
it's a
the
bunch
trillion-dollar
of lawsuits.
company.
It's a bunch of lawsuits.
Well, with GDPR, wasn't it a government fine? Like the disclosure thing. Now there's that stupid bar on the bottom of every website.
I was going to ask about that. So
Yeah.
that one that came and went, but you know what Lawrence is talking about
Yeah,
the whole
dude.
like you must
Except
now
cookies.
Yeah, I love cookies, so I always say yes. I go cookie. Yeah,
yeah, no, that was a fine. This to me sounds like
Yeah. What are the consequences?
no one's said what the consequences are, but they're basically saying they're going to have to absorb a lot of lawsuits if
Yeah.
anybody wants to upload anything questionable that might be copywritten.
and
Makes
it's
sense.
easier just to hit the off button and block that part of the
the
country.
entire EU.
Lawrence, I appreciate that you're taking the other side of this. I really do. It's just like when you have to brush both sides of your teeth
Yeah.
with a Quip toothbrush.
I did that this morning.
One of the most important things we do for our health every day is brushing our teeth, yet most of us don't do it properly. That's why we are sponsored by Quip. Quip is a better electric toothbrush created by dentists and designers. Quip is designed to make brushing your teeth like that.
Those things.
It's designed to make brushing your teeth more simple, affordable, and even enjoyable. It feels great. The Quip toothbrush has a built-in 2-minute timer that pulses every 30 seconds to remind you when to switch sides, helping guide a full and even clean. Up to 90% of us don't brush for a full 2 minutes or don't clean evenly. Brush heads are automatically delivered on a dentist-recommended schedule every 3 months for just $5. 3 out of 4 of us use bristles that are old, worn out, and ineffective. Quip is awesome because of that 2-minute timer on the brush. I love that. That's one of my favorite things about brushing my teeth with these is that basically it'll tell you when to switch sides and it forces you to do it for 2 minutes.
You should practice dancing in that amount of time.
You could do both. That's why I love Quip and why they're backed by over 20,000 dental professionals. Quip starts at just $25. And if you go to getquip.com/dude right now, you get your first refill pack for free with a Quip electric toothbrush. That's your first refill pack for free with a Quip electric toothbrush at getquip.com/dude. Getquip.com/dude. All right. back to Article 13.
I want to talk about how Europe wants to go back to the Dark Ages.
Well,
It was a really good time for them.
I'll tell you where
history of it.
we're at right now. So on September 12th, 2018, the European Parliament voted to move forward with Article 13. Article 13 is not yet a law, though. So language is being drafted and revised in EU's trilogue negotiations, which I don't know what that is. Do you know what that is? Trilogue. Between representatives from the European Commission.
I want to look it up.
Look, she knows way more about it than I do. From the European Commission,
EU
Parliament, and Council. This language could be finalized by the end of the year, and EU member states may have up to 2 years to make the directive into national law. Bad news, guys. Article 13's language has just about been finalized behind closed doors.
So, okay,
And it should go to a vote in March, April of this year. So in a
European
month or
Parliament
so.
members are
Exciting.
directly elected by European Union citizens. I feel like this issue should be enough to get a lot of them not reelected. If they're like drafting this thing and voting for it,
Yeah, we don't know how the public that feels about it though.
yeah, that's true. Maybe
Well,
they're all for it.
Take to the streets.
I know a lot
children.
of people have actually been reaching out to me on Twitter and stuff. A lot of people from Europe, obviously, being like, "You guys need to talk about this because it's a big deal."
Yeah.
And like a good American, I brushed them aside because
Nice.
they were getting in the way of me eating my double cheeseburger. But now that I'm here and I have no cheeseburgers, it's a big deal.
Well, it might take away your cheeseburgers. You ever think about that? It might take it out of your mouth. I mean, like, what is it? 20% of our audience
I was gonna say
is UK or something like that.
Yeah, our audience goes U.S., Canada, right?
I think it's US, UK.
Oh, U.S., UK,
Yeah.
and then EU, Canada,
Australia's in there
Australia.
somewhere, yeah.
Well,
English-speaking nations.
and also
That
the
one guy in Finland who watches us is going to be so mad.
Also, the UK, if they leave the EU as a Brexit,
Wouldn't count.
it may not count. Who knows what will happen with that?
Although they got back into doing another referendum lately, I saw.
Oh yeah, that's
Maybe.
right. They did. I mean, who knows? I'm not
just,
sure.
I just watch from afar on our little island, our huge island.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we have no troubles here in America.
Not even an island.
Got our own issues.
It's an island if you zoom out enough.
Everything's an island. It's
not connected to
No
anything.
man is an island.
But yeah,
No Man's Island.
No man is an island.
so this is it's really fascinating. I've honestly been waiting for the axe to fall for a while.
We're not there yet.
What?
We're a couple months out for
Oh.
Article 13.
Oh, sweet.
We're gonna
the
find
guillotine.
out. We're
That's
gonna find out.
reassuring.
Axe.
We're gonna
Yeah.
find out.
Yeah, vive la France. We have, and it's weird because you can't explain this to people who grew up in this culture, but media has been so open. This has never happened before.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, first of all, the means to get into any kind of media production were prohibitively expensive. You needed, no one could buy a printing press. And going up into like production equipment, there was like public access, which was the best outreach you had, but you couldn't buy studio equipment or studio mixers. That shit was all way too expensive. Now with YouTube, all you need is a MacBook and you can be an ex Justin Bieber. And also just the floodgates of content rights have been wide open for the last 15 years. So there's never been another time for a lot of people who are growing up as aspiring producers. And now the noose is starting to tighten a little bit.
Yeah, it is.
I've been kind of waiting for it to click back a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't.
I wasn't expecting it to come from Europe.
Yeah.
I was expecting this to be more of a U.S. thing.
It's interesting. I think we seem to be more open about this stuff.
We had our Napster scare.
It's actually
The
same with
net
Bit-
neutrality debate. It's pretty hard.
There's
to
that
get.
too.
Yeah, that one's. But also like same with Bitcoin. Bitcoin in the U.S. is kind of like do whatever you want.
That's true.
And everywhere else is like no way, clamping down on it. And the U.S. seems to be pretty open because it's like free market capitalist.
We're
Like,
the Wild West.
Yeah,
We're the
it's-
newest country on the block.
so
We're not.
So I'll talk back to Article 13, and it's like I said, it's been finalized.
Lithuania?
Basically, the final text of the Copyright Directive. It's called the Copyright Directive. Has yet to be shared, but Pirate MEP Julia Reda, a prominent opponent of the law, offered a summary on her blog. Much of what has already been criticized remains the same in the language. Under Article 13 of the final text, says Reda, for-profit platforms like YouTube, Tumblr, Twitter will be forced to proactively scan user-uploaded content for material that infringes copyright. Here's another thing that I haven't told you about yet. Article 11, which is called the link tax, meanwhile, gives publishers the right to charge search engines, aggregators, and other sites if they reproduce more than single words or very short extracts of news stories.
What?
Wow.
So that's another thing that's in this law that could go to.
So that actually
it's called the link tax.
That links up to something else that I've been kind of concerned about lately is that Google is kind of building their own internet called AMP. If you use Google now, you
right,
probably
yeah,
noticed it.
yeah.
They have a CDN where everything, they like yank it off the website, put it on their thing, and then have it go through that because it's faster. I feel like
what
that's
is it?
kind of.
Facebook has a thing like that for news articles.
Oh, they do?
I'm sure they do.
I stay off Facebook
Lightning
as
or
much as I
something.
can.
I don't know what it's
but-
called.
Well, it's
yeah.
like Amazon Web Services, AWS.
Yeah, yeah.
They
run the internet.
They run basically everything on the internet.
I do kind of, if we want to get conspiratorial about it, I feel like the link tax is one of those things that's like meant to kind of slap back against people who are quietly assuming control of all of the utilities and systems that deliver information to us. That's interesting
Yeah,
and scary, but
super scary.
what's scarier is that quietly a lot of Silicon Beach companies have taken control of our culture and we didn't even know what happened. We weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what this is meant to combat.
So you call it a meme ban.
Yeah.
How would memes be infringed?
So since memes are basically let's assume that anything that is in a meme
SpongeBob
is copywritten, right?
counts.
So like most
Photo of the guy looking back.
memes, like Interesting Man in
Sad
the World, all
Keanu.
that, those sorts of things, those were all your base. That was taken from a video game. So if basically you can't do that anymore. If you upload anything that has copyright material, it goes away.
Yeah, so if this law goes through, I'm just throwing this out there because I'm still sort of wrapping my head
Yeah,
around
absolutely,
it.
please.
I know people always give a shit for this. They're like, why didn't you get a high-powered lawyer who knows more about this? It's like,
It's fine, Adam. We know you're slow.
I don't know any. I am very slow.
No, this is
He's
a
going to
really
night
this
school.
is a
He's
really
trying.
tough issue. It's weird.
If this law in the EU went on everything, basically. So I went on Instagram and I posted a meme and it was of like Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper from the Oscars. Then I am now enabling Instagram to be sued.
Correct.
Yes,
By-
Instagram would have to stop you from
More likely,
posting it.
yeah, Instagram would not distribute your post in Europe.
Yeah.
That's right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's right.
Man.
And so then that would require millions and maybe if not billions of dollars on their part, Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, of like filtering your content. They're like they're trying to find out, oh, you uploaded something from the Oscars, right? Okay, well then is that from the Oscars? They have to compare. They have all the reference material and they have to do it for
Yeah.
every single post that goes
I'm
up.
not going to be sad about the idea of them having to spend more money.
Well, no, I know.
That part's fine.
Well, what the important part about that is if they spend more money, that gets passed on to the creators. Yep. So they're going to pay us less,
True.
right?
But-
so that's sort of the
I see more of a culture issue in that it's preventing people from talking about a thing at the Oscars.
that too.
Like it's more of a conversation controller that I
What
feel.
if I
Yeah.
drew it?
I think
Well,
if you drew it, it'd be
yeah.
okay.
Be okay.
Well,
What
that
if
could
I
be-
was an awesome artist though,
be
like
considered
Nate or
parody.
Jeff Delgado, where it looks so good?
Well, here's a weird
Yeah,
thing.
where did those
though.
lines get
I don't
drawn?
know.
Here's a
They have
weird
to be
thing.
very explicit.
It's a really good question because, like, if you draw it, do you own the copyright?
I don't know.
Well, you're right. Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
It's
So
like
you
a
ha-
Hope shirt or whatever.
No,
That was-
right? Because fan art is still copywritten.
But also,
you can't sell it.
Did you buy the cop? Like, did you go somewhere and buy the copyright, and then you had to
Yeah.
prove it to YouTube that you've got it? Like,
Man.
So
holy
there,
shit.
it does rely on kind of for this to even remotely work, and I can almost see a path that it can is you brought up Bitcoin. A lot of people have pointed to the blockchain as being rights management. So with any work of art, a picture, a meme, whatever, attached in the metadata, that is the chain of distribution of that piece of content. That's
right, yeah.
You can
when it
trace
gets
it back.
yeah, when it gets copied, posted on Instagram, somebody adds text to it, all this stuff is kept in a ledger that then all traces back to the original copyright holder. So if you want to fucking post something on Instagram, it says like, oh, we've traced these rights back. It's going to cost you 2 cents.
Everything has its own blockchain.
And
Yeah,
then you say,
but
yeah, I'll
it's-
pay that, and then the money goes back to the original copyright holder. Instagram through that chain can verify that the copyright holder was paid, and then content can flow again with
just too-
micropayments flying around.
It's just too slow right now.
it's way too slow.
I like that idea. I that was sort of pitched with the blockchain where it's like, yeah, so many people, especially like on Reddit and other places, will create an original comic book. They'll just crop your name out, upload it, put it, BuzzFeed will put up. How fucking great would it be if BuzzFeed ripped off one of your pictures, put on their blog, and then you got a check in the mail for $5?
Unilad stole a meme from me yesterday, but technically the meme was from Apex Legends, so I would owe the money to EA.
But I'm saying everyone gets paid, right?
It'd probably be like some weird revenue split between all
like
of that.
maybe Unilad would give me credit for the
Yeah.
caption, but then
mean,
EA.
it'd be a weird, it'd be a weird pyramid scheme.
Would it have to go back to the person who first made up the meme?
It'd be a division, I bet.
But then Apex Legends uses the Source engine, so that has to go up to Valve.
See, and this is
Gabe
where
Newell owns
it
knives.
gets really, really
lot of
confusing and terrible. And these are a lot of different people. It's what YouTube's going through right now by having to filter all their videos for standards and practices, meaning like demonetization.
Oh, yeah.
because they're having to hire thousands of people to
all the
watch a bunch of
swears.
videos to be like, is this okay? And I've watched another video. Yes, okay. Like there are another 1,000 or millions of people that they may have to hire to do this.
Yeah.
And they have robots working for them, but they're not very good, as we know.
I don't think they want to risk robots on this one as
No.
well. Like it
No.
would cost them too much money if the robot is wrong.
Right, exactly.
They can't.
Because there are thousands and thousands of lawsuits that could roll in. And I know there's one thing I know about large companies is that the one thing that scares them is a lawsuit. That's it. That's pretty much it. So either way. Okay, so Lawrence was demonstrating what a supporter of Article 13 would be asking. And I tried to find the other side of this because I was like, there are a lot of people being like, Article 13 is garbage. And I was like, there has to be a few people supporting this thing, right? Well, one of them's the EU Commission. Posted an article on medium.com defending the copyright. Medium.com. It's
you guys, you know what Medium is.
But there's a reason it's on the Wayback Machine.
Uh-oh.
And it's because the article was taken down by the EU Commission itself.
That's not great.
Yeah, no, it's not. They said its
Full
language.
control. It's great.
They said that its language and title were not appropriate, and we apologize for the fact that it has been seen as offending.
Oh, geez.
That's why we removed this article from our Medium account.
Turns out we didn't know that dragons were a copyright holder of Walt Disney Corporation.
Well, the title was The Copyright Directive, How the Mob Was Told to Save the Dragon and Slay the Knight.
Jesus.
And basically what people, so Forbes did a really good article about.
Man, fuck.
They did a really good
How to not read the room.
Yeah, exactly. They did a really good article on this article, basically commenting saying like, this article from the EU Commission was so emotional. It was like, you guys, I don't understand. How did this get so fucked up? Like, you're not understanding, bro. Like, the government's here to help you. And everyone's like, fuck you. Like, they all went in and commented. Like, they're like, get the fuck out of here. We're tired of you. Which I thought was really funny.
The equivalent is like PETA.
Nazis are
calling it-
great, man.
Yeah, I know. And then like,
Jews aren't even that good.
no one invited you. What are you
Shut up, Hitler.
So throughout the article, Forbes says, throughout the article, the EU Commission frames Article 13 as an effort to rein in tech monopolies and help creators. But both who Article 13 hurts and who it helps is wildly different. Although breaking up the power of tech companies is an important objective, which I agree. Sure. The complicated nature of social media companies as both platforms and publishers will offset the costs of this action onto small creators while benefiting large music publishing companies. Yeah. So that's what's they're gonna pass the savings on to us. We're gonna get fucked.
The other aspect is that it creates a scenario where there can be no competitors. If you need a monolithic piece of tech to authorize every piece of content to publish, there's no way that like a Rooster Teeth could ever happen in
Also
the
a
EU.
good point.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that
The
was a really
social
good
media
point.
we have is the social media we'll have forever.
Yeah, it's going to be it forever because you need $100,000 to afford the giant humming machine that
More.
can, or more, yeah, millions and millions of dollars. And
Justin Bieber has his own server.
yeah,
That's right, he does.
good for him.
Good point.
Jay-Z's serving those uncompressed waves.
Yeah, that's right.
Sure.
It sort of, it stamps down innovation. 'Cause
Yeah.
you can't start a small
It's
company.
weird when they talk about busting up corporate monopolies, but it all but hands a monopoly to the corporations that have those
Yeah.
services already.
I was sort of hoping this was going to be more kind of pro old school copyright law, where copyright law was meant to encourage creativity, where it was like, you have a copyright for like 10 years, and then it kept getting pushed up and up, and
Thanks,
hey,
Disney.
Let's thanks Disney for the 90-year copyright that is about to run out on Mickey Mouse himself. But they're also not really fighting it this time. They fought it for. There was a really interesting thing they did in the 90s where they were trying to extend their copyright of certain things so that things would stay copyrighted longer. There wasn't much of an uproar. There's an article I read. There was like a theory on this that there wasn't much of an uproar because there wasn't really much of a voice for the world. Now that we all have a voice and we can all scream at Disney very easily, and Disney's very protective of their image, they're probably not going to fight this new copyright that's coming in. So like Mickey Mouse is probably going to be public domain
Hell yeah.
in a year or two.
So
And
He's going to be an SFM before long. I
I
can't
think
wait.
Disney
be straight to porn.
No, sure, why not? I mean, Disney could
it to
issue
Widowmaker Mickey.
takedowns. They could do a cease and desist, but it would go nowhere because it'd be like, Your Honor, it's
Public domain.
It's public domain now, and Disney would go, you're right. But to scare people, there's a whole like theory on what they're going to do. But anyway, just to go back, I was hoping this whole thing, Article 13, was going to be like it's trying to push for less strict copyright protection on things that it's like it's going to run out in 10 years. So whatever, it's free for everyone. Let's remix and reuse and do that stuff. And instead of just relying on your old content like Star Wars, make it new Star Wars because we're all getting kind of tired of it.
Yeah.
Except I'll keep going and seeing it. So.
Yeah, same.
From what I've read, it doesn't really change copyright law at all.
Yeah.
It
No,
just
not
just
at all.
changes the way it's disseminated. And I think you bring up an interesting point about Mickey Mouse and what you were talking about with like EA and like making your own meme and stuff. I like the environment we're in right now. I think it's really cool that anybody can be like tweet something funny, whether or not it's copywritten, it doesn't matter. And everyone's like, oh, retweeting, commenting, and be like, oh, that's so neat. It's so cool. I like that creative environment. I think it's really open and fun. I don't know that this Article 13 enables that. I'm not sure that it does. I haven't been able to figure out.
Discourages it.
It would shut down. It would shut down outlets like Fuck Jerry for sure.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, that's true.
But then again, the tools should be there to prevent that from happening right now, and they don't work.
Or like a
so.
Chive, would it shut down that kind of stuff?
Probably.
A 9gag,
BuzzFeed.
9gag would be out. Yeah.
Imager.
Yeah.
Aggregation, curation services would be dead, which is
Reddit?
kind of nice.
Oh yeah, that's Reddit's actually really worried about that link tax.
Yeah.
That's a big deal for Reddit.
The thing is, like that helps journalistic outlets, and they need all the help they can get.
Yeah,
'Cause they
so
just got
flip
their
side
shit
of
ripped
that
off.
is the way that at IGN we would get updates all the time when Google had changed anything. We would always try to like specifically write those sentences so that Google would pick them up, because if you had a certain link, then it would be at the very top. Like we were trying to do the opposite. So I'd be surprised if that link tax, if many journalistic outlets actually pursue that, because you want to be on search engines so bad and you want to be at the top so bad that you're like, no, please take our sentences so we get
But
pushed.
how
up.
does it help IGN? Say like when an Anthem review came up and the first comment says 6 out of 10 saves you a click. Doesn't really help you a lot, you know, as the journalist. Who's like Reddit's like, hey, I aggregated your stuff, and then people on their own website are saying, oh, I copy and pasted all the info so you don't have to go to their website.
Yeah.
And they're all high-fiving each other. And then it's all the people who like actually worked on this stuff are like, fuck.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens with us when they take our videos, put it on Reddit. It's great because people will come to our subreddit or whatever, but it doesn't drive video views up. Like we don't get more ads run or anything.
I mean, like we're such a small thing.
Oh, sure, and it's tiny.
That it's
like tiny compared to
if PewDiePie is going to watch one of our videos, like a clip of it, and I mean, he linked out to us in the description, which is awesome.
Yeah, that is nice.
And we also didn't give him a dime, so he's not beholden to say like, go check out Funhaus, they're great, blah blah. It's like, dude, the fact that you mentioned this is totally cool. Yeah. But now going to the Fuck Jerry thing and all these other like people who have made a living off of taking other people's content, who otherwise wouldn't probably find a way to monetize it, are monetizing their stuff. Jukin Media is another company that does that, where they will actually try to buy people's rights. Yeah. Ellen does this. I don't know. I'm with Lawrence though. The blockchain is fucking awesome.
Theoretically.
I like that idea that anything you do that has an ad or any sort of advertisement or any sort of
You say
monetary
that,
value.
though, like there are two sides to it where it does sound good, but then everything you do is being tracked.
Oh, that too.
Nothing
It
changes.
already is.
You lose the security.
I've lost it.
It's already gone.
so long ago.
I feel like it's kind of weird and scary, because I think this is making people sort of wake up to kind of like what Bruce was saying, that a lot of media companies do kind of control our worldview. I think if blockchain technology were attached to everything, like every picture you take and every post that you make, then yeah, it might wake you up to just how tracked all that stuff already is. Yeah. And media companies, Silicon Beach companies were very good at making that all very transparent, so you didn't get really creeped out by Facebook and how spiderwebbed into your life it got.
Yeah.
So I think in some ways there are a lot of things that would solve this problem that are uncomfortable to people, which is a shame because they're already happening and most people just don't think about it. Gmail scans every email that comes into you, and it customizes ads based on it. Yeah. There was even a game where people would like send each other emails about like getting divorced or committing suicide and see what ads would pop up. Yep. Pretty weird. But yeah.
I had one of those moments for the first time the other night where I was talking about visiting a city, and then I got an ad for it, and it was a phone call.
When like...
It was like, go to Seattle or whatever, and then I was getting ads for Seattle. And I was like, I only said that on the phone.
Holy shit.
No.
Do you have like an Alexa or like a Google Home? Or Omar, you mentioned that, right? There's a podcast that talks about that.
Yeah, Reply All. I think it's an NPR podcast. Did an episode on how that stuff happens, and like takes all the mystery out of how like you get linked to conversations that other people are having because of your location and your friendship based on Facebook and all this stuff.
It's already happening.
Yeah.
Google just I don't know if you guys saw, but they had to apologize for hiding a microphone in Nest.
Whoops.
Where they were like, people were like, why is there a microphone in Nest?
Yeah, the security
and
one.
It had been there for years.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, we don't even use that. There's no need for a microphone. And they're like, oh, we just put it in there because we were hoping to enable it at some point.
It reminds me of Fareed lent me a really heady book from the 70s that basically is biting off a lot of the philosophical issues that are happening right now, which is that it's frequently seen as a positive, a social good for technology to improve. Like computers get better, they get faster, they predict what you want. All this is a good thing. But if that improvement is not done under the conscious purview of human beings making decisions, if we're just improving things for no reason, then we've given free will away to the machines that are improving themselves. So once it is kind of leading to a future where we have actually as a human race lost free will because we traded it away. The Matrix movies were kind of about this stuff too. But
I think the scariest thing about the landscape we're in right now is that our worldview is entirely fabricated by things we see. Like someone can post something that's like, the SJWs are mad about this. I can't believe people are so mad. But really, it was just one comment. But then that screenshot gets shared by someone who has 1 million followers, and then that's shared by 10,000 people, and then 10,000 people think that this one person represents millions of people, and everyone just gets more and more mad at each other, and it's not true. It's all bullshit.
On the flip side, before there was mass communication and ways for us to interact with pretty much anyone in the world, if you lived in a small town, that sort of shaped your worldview. Where if there was someone different color skin of you, your family or people around you, you're like, don't trust them, they're bad. And then you go, yes. Okay.
Also true.
So
before that, it was books. You burned down libraries that hold the history of before your country conquered that country, and you replace them with ones that say otherwise.
I agree with you. There is a mob mentality, and there is a lot of trial by mob online, and you sort of have to like tiptoe and be careful. But at the same time, I love the idea of mass information being available in your pocket.
Yeah.
The things we use every day are more powerful than things that took people to the moon, or things that even took the first little robot to Mars. God rest his soul, he's dead. Poor guy. But I love that. That's like we basically have a Babelfish in our pocket. Like it's really cool.
And
so
we
it's
use
like
it to insult each other.
we did, and then we use it to post pictures of
Apex Legends
SpongeBob.
memes.
I think that the positives far outweigh the negatives when it does come to interconnected communication systems. But I do think it is shaking some things loose out of human nature that we didn't expect.
It's also this is also really early.
Yeah.
Like when you really think
Why
it's
it's
the first
scary.
generation.
That's why we need to talk about it and be concerned, because we don't know what's going to happen.
I got another thing that we
And
can talk
set
about
rules.
too.
What's that, Bruce?
Applying for a loan.
Yeah.
You got to do that when you grow up.
Got to buy your phone somehow.
Applying for a loan is a lot like applying for a job that you don't get to interview for. Instead, loan companies make their decisions based off your credit score and history, just like we were talking about, without getting to know the whole you. Now, thanks to Upstart.com, it never has to be that way again. Upstart is revolutionizing the way you borrow money by rewarding you for your job experience and education in the form of a smarter interest rate. When I first bought a car, this is actually me, and I got a loan through the dealer, I had no idea if my interest rate was good or not. I remember doing that and walking in and being like, they gave me 5.5%. And I was like, I guess that's good. I just had to trust them, which sucks because I'm not really sure you can trust a car dealership.
Same thing with me. I think I got reamed.
If I'd had Upstart, I at least would have been able to have some comparisons, go online and check the comparisons. Unlike traditional credit underwriting, which could be biased against people with a short credit history, Upstart goes beyond the traditional FICO score when assessing your creditworthiness. Upstart believes you're more than just your credit score. They make it fast, simple, and easy to check your rate in less than 2 minutes without affecting your credit score. The best part, once your loan is approved, the funds will be transferred to you the very next business day. The next day. Over 100,000 people have used Upstart to pay off credit cards, student loans, fund their wedding, or just make a large purchase. Free yourself from the burden of high-interest credit card debt by consolidating everything into one monthly payment with Upstart. See why Upstart is ranked #1 in their category with over 300 businesses on Trustpilot, and hurry to upstart.com/dude to find out how low your Upstart rate is. Checking your rate only takes 2 minutes, and it won't affect your credit. That's upstart.com/dude. There you go. Okay, just to sum up the Article 13 stuff, because I thought Forbes wrote a really good article about both sides, but Mason Sands, who was the author of that article, had a pretty good conclusion to it. It should be known who exactly Article 13 benefits, and it increasingly appears to only benefit publishers. With the exception of the music industry, most creatives have either withdrawn support for or lambasted Article 13. And within the music industry, there's infighting between publishers and labels, which want stricter copyright laws and artists. Music publishers are no strangers to copyright controversies on media platform companies, with some overzealously filing copyright claims on YouTube, or even making completely false claims, which we see almost on a daily basis. Article 13 will embolden these claims. Article 13's sister, Article 11, which imposes a type of link tax on search engines by requiring that they purchase licenses to include clips of articles from news publishers, also benefits large publishers rather than small ones, as Google may be unwilling to pay licenses for the content of smaller companies. I wrote, this as my little finish up to this, as usual, look into both sides of an issue before deciding, which I tried to do. It's really hard to find support for Article 13. But remember that a bunch of large companies are probably behind the scenes on both sides, probably.
Big bread.
And in some cases, standing right in front of you, telling you what to think. I mean, YouTube is telling you what to do. They're saying, don't like Article 13, tweet about it, say you don't want it.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of it, they may be getting lobbied, they may not be, from large companies to support Article 13. I have no idea.
I just realized the vision of media in the future that can exist through Article 13 is kind of where it's going anyway, which is that to get anyone's any like studio or copyright holders content, you go directly to them, to their stupid subscription service. Sign up for RT first, please. But yeah, it's like you go through Amazon and you can bolt on an HBO subscription or a Showtime subscription or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, it does sort of, I feel like it just brushes away that middle layer of weird, aggressive content, the kind of stuff that we make. Because I feel like it's not even a blip in the radar on the world stage. You're either a multi-million-dollar studio or you're just some asshole taking photos of your butthole.
Assholes.
Yeah. I just realized I've never done that.
I mean, you
Taking a photo
can.
of their butthole?
You can do it anytime you want.
I know.
You could go in the bathroom right now. And do it.
Yeah.
The older I get, the more I realize there's things that I should do before I die that I haven't yet.
I don't know if that's one of them, Chief.
What? I mean, do you want to die without ever staring directly into your own butthole?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I've done it a number of times.
Yeah, no,
You've taken a photo of your own butthole?
Not a photo. I just looked.
Oh, I thought you.
How?
Wait.
I have a mirror. You just bend over.
Yeah. That's
You like basically just put your head between your legs and look between. Easy enough.
I don't think I have. I had
You can use a mirror like women do.
Yeah, I've done that, but not for my
Squat
butthole.
over the mirror.
if you put it on the floor and you go, there it is.
Confirmed I have it.
Yeah.
You just want to make sure everything's cool.
And then you flex a little bit and it winks at you. Yeah.
Speaking of buttholes,
Yeah.
What?
PewDiePie and T-Series.
I was like, you going to segue to an ad there?
This is just a fun little story.
Is there an update?
There is kind of an update. Hey, Omar, can you bring up that live count? Thank you very much. PewDiePie is only ahead by about 100,000.
Oh, boy.
And has been for a while. But just a few days ago, T-Series overtook PewDiePie in the sub count war for about 8 minutes.
Wow.
So they were both fighting over it. And it's interesting because PewDiePie, I think a couple of weeks ago, was just sort of like, I know T-Series is going to beat me. Fuck it. Well, I was just kidding around. No big deal.
Because he's been advertising T-Series this whole time.
Well,
I
think
had no
that's
idea
sort
who
of the-
T-Series was, and now I know.
That's sort of the joke, I think. That's why I like PewDiePie because he usually doesn't take himself very
Yeah.
seriously.
I mean, this whole thing's a joke too, and it's just like, I mean, we already know subscribers aren't the make it or break it
not.
real thing. I think it impresses people. I don't know. It's like having a
It
big
impresses publishers who don't understand.
Disney.
Well, so I can tell you what will impress people. According to SocialBlade, PewDiePie has done about 348 million views in the last 30 days, so in a month.
Damn.
348 million. And SocialBlade's estimates are always like a huge range.
Yeah.
But in 30 days, his estimated monthly earnings are between $87,000 and $1.4 million. And that's just for the month, right? He probably makes obviously somewhere in the lower end of that. I don't think it's usually not on the higher
Yeah.
end from what I know from YouTube and then SocialBlade. But then let's look at T-Series SocialBlade because holy balls.
Whoa.
They do almost 3 billion views in 30 days. And they almost make $700,000 on the lowest end of monthly earnings to 11 million.
So it's like it's a Bollywood channel,
It is a
right?
Bollywood production company.
Okay.
And a music and a music license or
Like
record
a
label.
Vivo
It's a record
type.
label.
Yeah.
They're fucking
Well, they're not like Vivo, right? They actually are the ones making the music videos.
I believe they are the ones making the music.
Wow.
Yeah.
They must be really profitable.
They're destroying. They are just destroying the internet right now. And
Who's the market?
India.
India. There's a
What's
lot
the
of people
population
in
of India?
It's like second most populous country in the world, right?
I
Behind China?
can
it?
Google it. Because I'm pretty sure there's a ton of people.
Yeah, it's a huge country. It's an entire market.
1.3 billion.
That's a few.
That's a couple. Yeah, we
that?
could
That's
use
a
some
few
of them.
people.
That's
yeah.
that's 1/7 of the world.
Yeah.
So
Wow. I would have thought they were like fifth or something.
I've said it before. If we get behind that great firewall, China, man,
we're good.
they'd love our content.
Well, yeah, once that.
They look at Elise, they would love to own her.
Okay, yeah, China, India, then U.S.
yeah,
By population.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
U.S. is, well, it's a big, massive
we're like
land.
350
Y'all
billion.
got to start fucking. We got to get number one.
No, I don't want to be.
And then Indonesia, Brazil,
Keep those big
Pakistan.
open plains, you know? Let's not. I don't want to live in a Ready Player One future where we're on stacks.
That-
So I think I know the answer to this question for you guys, but is there anybody you want to win this?
I don't
Do you care? Yeah, I know Adam doesn't care.
Whoever wins, we
Look,
lose.
I say T-Series.
T-Series is going to win. I feel like I would prefer for PewDiePie to win because I see him as being an individual and it feels like a little guy rather than a company.
And that's the question. That's the question I was going to ask you next.
Wait. How do you figure out your winner? What does that mean?
Well, the winner is basically whoever overtakes
Gets
whoever.
more subs and
it's just
stays
they're
that
just going
way.
to go forever.
Which is going to be T-Series.
Yeah,
It's going to be tier series. Yeah, it's going to be tier
Well,
series.
it's like who are you rooting for, the human race or death? It's like
No, I mean,
it's like
either way,
death's always coming for you.
it's going to be T series.
Interesting
It's just a matter
analogy.
of
I don't know.
It's a matter of
I'm
when.
sorry, the emptiness of space or atoms. Like, what do you? They're just going to keep going on.
Oh, I see
I
what you
see.
mean.
You know what I mean?
Got
It's
it.
like
Okay.
there's no if there was an end date, if we're like if PewDiePie said if I have more subscribers than T Series 3 months from now,
I'll
I will
stop.
donate.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
donate $4 million. And then if T Series is like there's some ancient scroll that says if we don't beat this little Swedish guy,
Yeah.
we lose our country. Like India breaks off and sinks into the ocean or something. That'd be interesting. There's stakes. Right now it's just whatever.
Yeah, I feel like I'd go for India then. I feel like I'd vote India lives rather than $4 million
Sure,
to
I
charity.
mean because of the scrolls. But
The ancient
Well,
scrolls.
Alana brought up the most interesting point about this, which is over the last 6 months, it's been a war between these two for subscribers, only because one of them's like a giant company, and then another one is an individual YouTuber.
Has T-Series acknowledged it?
No. As far
That's
as
the
I can
thing.
see, I don't think
I don't think it's really a war.
They care at all.
It's just a bunch of people on PewDiePie's side that really lit up and made it a whole thing, which I think is actually really endearing.
cool, yeah.
I think it's actually one of the more wholesome like memes, especially given it is kind of a West versus East sort of thing, if you want to frame it that way. But
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
That's
that
the
totally
only thing that
didn't
I
even factor in.
don't like about it is the amount of racism that's come with it.
Oh, has there
Is
been?
there a ton? I didn't
Okay,
know that.
I've been privileged enough to not see any of that. It's
It's
just
like,
been like
okay, what if we didn't?
people hacking printers to say sub to
to
PewDiePie,
PewDiePie,
which is
Which is
Right.
funny.
cute.
Yeah, no, I always thought I thought the whole thing was fun. I mean, like Mr. Beast had a bunch of his friends at the Super Bowl. Had that shirt that said sub to PewDiePie, and so they got into a bunch of shots.
yeah.
during the Super
Yeah.
Bowl that said sub to
who's
PewDiePie.
Mr. Beast?
He's another huge YouTuber.
Okay.
It's kind of nice that we have a dumb cultural thing that everyone is banning towards because it is helping a creator rather than helping a corporation. And I do
Right.
think that that's cool to watch everyone do
He
that.
doesn't.
But it's like
need the help.
13-year-olds have been super racist about it.
No, he definitely doesn't need the help.
No,
You're
but
absolutely right, but it's also
it's an event.
It's more about the event. It's more about whether or not you think YouTube is about personalities or about companies. And I think most of us here within our little world would say it's about personalities.
I think it also just comes at an interesting time where YouTube seems to be pushing companies or celebrities rather than their own creators. So the
is right.
timing of it is just everyone's going to go for
What do you
PewDiePie.
think they do with the money? Those individual rich YouTubers. Those ones where it's
buy
like
houses
They make
with it.
videos,
Mansions
yeah.
or
They buy
whatever.
houses
no,
and cars.
I know, but like what you see is them in their tiny apartment. And
Rice
it's
Gum
like,
spends like thousands of dollars on shoes or something.
sure,
I
but
don't
he's a
know.
douchebag. I mean, like PewDiePie's like he seems like a pretty cool dude. Never actually
Yeah.
met him. We've talked to him online. and
He has
stuff.
like clothing brands and stuff.
Yeah, he seems like for a guy who is as big as he is, he seems to have a pretty good head on his shoulders. Make some silly
Make some mistakes.
mistakes
Yeah,
here
but-
and there when the whole world's
Yeah.
watching you.
It'd be impossible for him not to.
I'm not trying to defend his character or anything like that. I'm just saying you can't spend it fast enough. It's a Brewster's Million sorts of thing where it's like if let's say on the high end, what was it? PewDiePie's making $14 million a month or something.
16.
1.4.
1.4 million.
1.4.
I can't even. I couldn't even imagine what.
Really?
like, you buy a house a month? What do you do?
Throw it in the bank and leave it to your kids, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that
Hand it to an investment banker who just
Yeah.
keeps it rolling, so you have your family becomes one of those annoying asshole producer types in
It's a
Hollywood.
it's a weird thing though, right?
generations.
Because the way trickle-down economics works is that you should be spending all of that money so that you're funding the economy.
But he doesn't have time because he's making videos.
But
all
what do
the
you do
time.
with all the shit that you would buy? Like, sure, I could buy 1,000 TVs just to help the economy, but what am I going to fucking do with
You
it?
open an Applebee's.
give them to people
every
That's
month.
what I would have to do.
Give it
You would have to
people.
buy a bunch of shit and then figure
Oh.
out a way to give
You
the
hire
stuff to people.
You hire people to run your business, so then you pay them a salary and they buy TVs.
Right.
Yeah, you
And
start a
then-
nonprofit.
Yeah, you could start a nonprofit. There's a lot of ways to disseminate that money.
This is
into
what
it.
Mr. Beast does, by the way. Mr. Beast, Scott Michelle was telling me about it. Mr. Beast goes into like basically like a grocery store and tells all of his friends, "I'm giving you $10,000. You have to spend it in 5 minutes. Go." And then they go and spend 10,000. As they
that's
stimulate
I would
the
want to
economy.
help the economy. That's
That's
what I
like
would
crazy
want to do.
rich people stuff.
But then they donate the food. What are they? I don't know.
I don't know what they do with the food.
That just sounds like rich people having money fights.
When the global financial crisis happened, the government gave
A weird bump on my
different Australian families like $5,000 each under the they had to spend it.
Yeah.
So like my parents got $5,000 and bought a new TV.
That's awesome.
It was like, you have to spend this money because we need to save the economy. And people
Yeah.
did, and it worked.
President
Very
George
well.
W. Bush did that.
They
and
did
no
that
one spent
here
it.
too.
Yeah,
You
there
guys
was
remember
the-
the stimulus
The
check?
stimulus
that we got?
check, yeah. I got $200.
I think I got like 600.
Put it towards
Nice.
rent immediately.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I did. I think I did the same thing.
Yeah, and we still had a giant recession.
Not that it's like I'm trying to make a conversation or a stink about this or
No,
anything.
no, I know.
I always wondered when your business
much money.
is two people. It's like it's Felix and his editor, and like I don't know, maybe as a manager or something like that. It's like, where's it all going?
I've wondered that about streamers.
Is it just being hoarded?
Invest.
like
Like,
Ninja.
It's investing.
yeah.
For what?
you
To
have
what
no-
end?
I mean, they're investing, like Lauren said, for the future.
For more money. So you can retire at 35.
I hate that. I feel like if I were to
Yeah.
ever have that much money, that I would want to make sure everyone else got some of that money. I'm not going to just
That's
give it to
good.
organizations.
That's a
I'm
good
going to
thing.
figure out a way to help the economy.
That's what Bill Gates does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got so much money, it doesn't matter. Like, so he just like, I'm going to give away, I don't know what it is, but it's like something like 60% of his money
Right.
goes to charity.
Right.
So, which is great. You know, like that's awesome.
That's how you affect change in the world. What do you do?
Is there a number that you have to hit in order to live off the interest comfortably? Like, is that a thing that people talk about all the time?
There is.
Yeah, it depends on your standard of living, but yeah, you can totally invest in even just stocks and live off dividends. Yeah, that's a thing. And then you don't have to do anything because you don't run the business as long as it just.
The richest person I know
Broken Arrow.
invented a side add-on game to blackjack, and he gets a cut of every profit, every table it has ever played in every casino in the world. And so he moved from Australia to Vanuatu so that he wouldn't have to pay income tax because it's a completely tax-free country. So he's like in Australia 3 months a year, the rest of it he's in Vanuatu, doing nothing, making profits off of casinos. We're like, damn, dude.
Kim.com.
That's why I
It's
respect
wild.
PewDiePie though, because he's still making videos.
Yeah, he's still wild.
he's still doing it.
Still doing one a day. He probably doesn't need to.
And they're
No.
still creatively sharp too.
They're
Yeah.
still funny. I mean, like,
Didn't get soft.
and I mean, like T Series to like I guess to a lesser extent since they're a company, they're employing a lot of people. You know, I'm sure they're employing a ton of people, and
That is true.
And you know, like they're making art.
Yeah.
You know, if
They
you
would be
consider- and
stimulating the
James were
economy.
here, he'd hate it, but they're making if they're making art. So.
Well, and
James hate
through
it.
this rivalry, a
doesn't
bunch
like
of.
volleyball.
It's a race thing.
No, it's not a race thing. No,
joking.
just doesn't like volleyball.
Yeah, I don't know why. Jeez.
I don't know. I mean, people,
James got to loosen up.
people just don't like certain
Yeah,
things.
he's allowed to.
I
Not
guess
like
that's true.
volleyball.
I don't like musicals.
I don't
but
like-
love
I don't
volleyball.
like women.
Yeah.
Just like
No,
volleyball
I was gonna say
doesn't like
I
women.
don't like pornography with English women in it. The accent throws
Like
it
British?
off.
Oh.
What do they sound like?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to
give it to
come.
me. Oi.
I like
Yeah.
that.
All right. Well, if you're like every other man in the world that likes British people in porno,
Thank you.
then you'll like hymns. You've heard us talking about hymns and how they are helping guys look their best. If you haven't yet, it's time to see what they're all about. Some men have a problem. 66% of men start to lose their hair by age 35. Once you've noticed thinning hair, it can be too late. Is that hairline slowly starting to move backwards? Any bald spots yet? The best way to prevent more hair loss is to do something about it while you still have some. It's time to get a handle on those precious locks. I ask you, do you want a bald spot to pop up or your hairline to recede, or do you want to do something about it first? Why do guys turn to weird solutions or do nothing when they can turn to medicine and science? Here's the solution. Forhims.com, a one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, sexual wellness for men. Thanks to science, baldness can be optional. Hims is helping guys be the best version of themselves with licensed physicians and FDA-approved products to help treat hair loss. No snake oil pills or gas station counter supplements. Prescription solutions backed by science. For Hims connects you to real doctors online, which could save you hours. Completely confidential and discreet. You just answer a few quick questions. A doctor will review, and if they determine it's right for you, can prescribe you medication to treat hair loss that is shipped directly to your door. Dude Supers can get started with the Hims Complete Hair Kit for just $5 right now while supplies last. You like Dude Supers?
Ew.
I just wrote that. Dude Supers.
Gross.
Can get started with the Hims Complete Hair Kit for just $5 right now. What's wrong with Dude Supers? I don't understand. Supers, guys.
Supers.
It's a cool word, super.
Dude,
like a
super.
That's so you.
I think
It's the British version. It's like
Yeah.
when a lady speaks with an accent in a porno.
They can get started
Dude, super.
with the Hims Complete Hair Kit for $5 right now while supplies last and subject to doctor's approval. Restrictions apply. See website for full details. This could cost hundreds if you went to the doctor or a pharmacy somewhere else. Go to forhims.com/dude. That's FORHIMS.com/dude. Forhims.com/dude.
That reminds me, Bruce.
Dude Supers.
I have an idea for an amazing gameplay where you mentioned the like gas station medications.
Yeah.
I want to get all the boner pills that have like a cobra on them or like a dude just flexing, and then you take like 8 of them, and then you try to play a video game.
You would have a heart attack.
Yeah,
you might
I think it's mostly just like.
Or you'd play the
energy
best
pills.
you ever have.
Do you think if we made our own merch
bye.
that was like fake boner pills and it was actually just mints, but it came in like a thing that we had designed that people would buy Funhaus boner pills?
Yes.
Sure.
I do think so.
Sugar
I think
pill, yeah.
that's actually a pretty good idea.
And to clarify, it's
Copyright.
not the accent so much that throws me off. It's
The teeth.
No, not in the teeth. Actually, it's more the verbiage. So when they're just like, put it in my fanny, I'm like, no, it's called a vagina.
Look,
I'm trying to think of other things
like,
that British people
Oh
say.
yeah, screw me in this lift. It's
the
an
lift. Yeah,
elevator.
it's a lift.
What
Yeah.
about like Mary
Meet me
Poppins?
in the loo.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys you're too
Do
gutter.
you want
What
to have
about
sex after we watch the football?
Oh, soccer. Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of works. Yeah, put that dildo in me. It's made of aluminium.
I
don't like
you know, aluminum dildo. But
I mean, do you have a favorite porn accent?
warm it up first?
Mute, typically.
Porn on mute, yeah.
No, I mean like it's.
I don't want the guy
I
to
get it.
make any noises at all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
guys
no,
always say that. How do you think it feels to be a woman and listen to a woman scream and be like, "What the fuck
Well,
are you doing?"
that's too much. There's a middle ground there. I don't want somebody like
Yeah, no,
drives me
all of
insane.
it.
monkey.
All of it. The guy can ruin it when the dude makes it about him, or he's like, yeah, like shut the fuck up, dude. I'm just saying, you mute that stuff, it's better. It's just better. Just
That's true.
you fill it in. Use a little bit of your imagination.
I don't want to use any of my mind. That's why I'm watching porn.
Wait, I just realized. What is Article 13 going to do for porn?
What do you mean?
Porn would mostly be fine.
No one
except
makes
all
money
of
off
the
porn.
Overwatch
Absolutely
porn, I
they
guess.
do.
Well, no,
Yeah,
I mean
Overwatch
like
porn goes away.
no, the person who
sad.
produced a porno, like you couldn't repost any part of it. So all my favorite subreddits that just have the good 5-second clips, they're all gone.
That's a good point.
I got to watch feature-length porn now. Are
Like,
you
are
kidding
GIFs
me?
allowed? Can you have like a 2-second
No.
GIF?
That'd be
None of that.
copywritten material.
Meme ban. That's what
All of
it's
it
called,
gone. I'd have to go to, I mean, probably Pornhub, but
Yeah, so I mean,
Isn't
it's not
Pornhub
that
just
hard.
reposted everything anyway?
yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's
they
the
just
other thing. I
repost.
don't know
I
if
thought
they
if
do it
Pornhub's
legally.
user created at this point.
Is it really?
I think
Good
so.
for them.
It's a good percentage
They
of
have
user,
like
user created.
Yeah, they have like a YouTube like community type thing where it's like Pornhub community, just fans fucking each other. Like,
But you still wouldn't, like Pornhub would have to verify that all of those videos uploaded were original homegrown creations.
Yeah, you're right. They would.
And they can't do that.
I mean,
Somebody could just rip.
Well, they have verifications though. So users on Pornhub are verified. I know it's the
Oh.
same for YouPorn.
that's when the girl takes her shirt off and she writes her name on a piece of paper and holds up to the camera.
But I would think that if you
Copyright
had
boobs.
you had verified users the same way you do on YouTube, that they could probably do it on YouTube actually. That you would verified people would get a pass or whatever. Maybe I don't know. There's still risk of being sued. I don't know.
Anyways, Article 13 is going to take away your porn.
I'm still waiting for.
And with that,
Oh.
go ahead. You finish your sentence.
Oh no, just deep fakes. And like when you're like, I have the copyright to my face, you can't just take it and put it on a way hotter dude. Thank you, by the
Do
way.
you have the copyright to your own face?
I hope
No,
so.
he doesn't.
You
Lawrence
can
doesn't have a copyright
You
for
can
his
sign
own
away
face.
the likeness, your likeness, but
I look
do you
like
do you
every
inherently
dude.
own your likeness or
until
not?
I sign it away, yes.
Like
What if you had a
if
twin?
someone makes deep fakes of you, do you own that? No, they own it.
Absolutely not.
Right?
I don't know if they own it, but I don't
If they
think that you
created
own
it?
it. I don't think that you own it.
you can absolutely. I mean, you should be able to sue them to remove that.
I
Content.
don't think you own your own likeness unless you wouldn't make the effort to copyright it.
You
I
better
don't
get
think
on
you
that.
legally own
You better
yourself.
hurry up and do that, Lawrence. There are a lot of deepfakes of Lawrence I've seen out there, and people are making millions of dollars.
If that's the case, why do you have to sign papers saying that I agree that you can photograph me or you can put me in your video?
Yeah, that is true. I just don't know how that works with
But if the
deepfakes.
monkey takes the photo, the monkey owns it. That was
All right, that's
right.
going to be the end of
Adam's
the soup. We could go on forever. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate
Just
it.
like that guy in the porno.
There are new jackets.
yeah.
in the
Look at
store.
Lawrence.
That's a new Funhaus jacket there.
Now run like Naruto.
Put your arms back, and there you go.
That's how he runs.
There's also new
Believe it.
new St. Patrick's Day shirt.
I just realized that's a
called
reverse
Brewhouse.
dab.
It really is.
Reverse dabbing for years.
It's lit.
That's all in the
Liddy.
RT merch store, so go check it out. Is that it? Is that the only thing you can talk about?
That's about it. We got some stuff coming out, but you'll see it when it airs. Just keep an eye on our channel. Hey,
Please.
one day maybe we'll be as big as T-Series.
Oh, that's not true. Stay tuned for the post show coming up right after this. It's live for all you RT First members. But in the case that you're not, you're just on YouTube, you could watch it on roosterteeth.com if you were an RT First member as well. So consider doing that. And if not, no big deal. We'll be here. We'll be here, back next week. So okay, talk to you later, everyone. Bye.
We're gonna say things about you.
a video is just below par, then I dislike it. It's like, that's not what I think it is, though.
Yeah.
It feels hurtful when I see it.
Like, I can maybe count on both hands how many times I've disliked a video in the
Yeah.
last year. Like, it's got to be the most heinous shit to be like, dude, I'm sorry, I got to drop a dislike.
Yeah,
and these
yeah.
people just throw them out like a flower girl walking down the aisle. I don't like that.
YouTube